Hi there everybody, this is David, and happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. Hope everyone's having a really good time today. Lots of parties, cookouts, fireworks, barbecues, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, video games. And we got a lot of news to go over today, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. And that's totally worth the sub as you come and you join a party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So our top story is Sony shooting themselves in the foot and basically trying to bankrupt themselves. Lovely. Sony Interactive Entertainment is to end physical game disc production in January of 2028. I put out a long video about this the other day, whenever this was first announced, so if you want more in-depth information, please watch that. Basically, they said after January 2028, all new games will only be available via the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. That means code in a box. They go on to say that this is due to consumer trends and blah, 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 blah. But here's the real issue. Here's the real deal. There are only so many physical games out there, and each physical game also has a digital game. In addition to that, there are a ton of digital-only games out there as well, plus DLC, which whenever downloaded also counts as a digital purchase or a digital game. So if you take the amount of, let's say there's like 2,000 physical games, and then you double that, and then, okay, there's 2,000 digital. But then there's like, 10,000 more digital-only games, plus DLC for all these physical games that are already out there. So of course it's going to look like there's a lot more digital purchases than physical purchases because of that, because the data is skewed, and they're using this to create a monopoly and to ensure that you only have one place to buy their games. So they're trying to create this ecosystem where there's no competition, and they can charge whatever it is that they want for their games, and it's really, really, really horrible. I wanted to rant about this the other day. If you are upset about this, the only thing that we can do is vote with our wallets and hit them where it hurts, and it hurts them in their pocketbook. So if you have PSN, any sort of PlayStation Plus, anything like that, any sort of recurring subscription with PlayStation, you can send them a message by canceling it and letting them know how you feel about this. Because not only that, they are also closing down the PS3 and the PlayStation Vita store in July of 2027. It says it's closing down in most countries on that date. It'll close earlier in select countries in August 2026 in Mexico, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and then late 2026 in additional Latin American and Middle Eastern countries. This means that new content purchases will no longer be possible once the PlayStation Store closes on these devices. To ease that transition, players will still be able to download previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. And we don't know when the foreseeable future is. And another thing to note, remember Concord? That live service game that lasted like 2 weeks, and it was going to be the next big thing, and everybody was going to love Concord. It was going to be great. Do you guys remember this? Not an RPG, but I remember this. It was a big thing. It came out, it completely and utterly failed. So what did Sony do? Well, they removed it from your system. So if you were one of like the 2 people who actually liked Concord, you can't play it. And I know it's Concord, and I know what people are going to say, well, it's so terrible, blah, 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 blah. That the point is that they removed that game from your library. So if you had it in your library, whether you liked it or you didn't, they still removed it. They have the power to remove a digital game from your library. That is the point that I'm trying to make here. Moving on into some Final Fantasy VII news right here, we have multiple Final Fantasy VII Revelation DLC packs that have been listed on the Epic Games Store. This includes a Premium Plus edition, a story expansion pass, 9 DLCs, and more. Note that none of this is officially confirmed by release by Square Enix, but some of them could even be placeholders or not end up as major DLCs and just be item packs. More than likely, 7 of them are item packs, equipment, costumes, stuff like that for each playable character. It does say story expansion pass, which is odd, which is strange, and I'm kind of wondering, some people are like, oh, it's gotta be Dirge of Cerberus. No, give me a break. They're not gonna make Dirge of Cerberus DLC. They will remake Dirge of Cerberus and put that out as its own game if they're going to do it. Same thing with Advent Children. If they're going to do that, they're going to remake that as its own game and put that out by itself. If they were going to do that, they wouldn't release it as DLC. That's just, no, they wouldn't do that. But Story Expansion Pass, I'm thinking alternate universe, alternate reality, alternate timeline, Aerith lives. That's what I'm thinking for these Story Expansion Pass. Zack's timeline, what's going on there, that sort of thing for Story Expansion Pass. But interesting to think about. One thing that I am very upset about this, though, is I saw a lot of people and they were super excited. Whoa, DLC, this is great. Oh, wonderful. No, what are you talking about? The game isn't even out yet, and they're already making DLC. That means that what would have previously 10, 15 something years ago would have just gone into the game itself and been included in the price of the game is now going to be piecemealed out and sold to you separately. And people are excited about that? I'm not. All of this DLC should be in the game itself. It's like whenever you played a Tales game back on the PlayStation 2, and there were all these costumes and all these cool things that were included in the game. Now, are those costumes included in the game? Not really. You gotta buy them, because they're all DLC. Dungeon Antiqua is coming to the PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Switch on July the 30th. This is a dungeon crawler RPG that first launched for the PC in October of 2024. I played Dungeon Antiqua 2. It came out in January of this year, and it came out of nowhere, and I loved it. I adored it. I thought it was fan-freaking-tastic. It is essentially dungeon crawling Final Fantasy V. You went through these various dungeons, you beat the bosses, you got a new job class, and then you went through different dungeons. And it was so much fun. It was short, and it was sweet, and it was cute, and I loved it. If you like short, sweet, cute RPGs with, you know, turn-based combat and all that kind of stuff, then this is definitely right up your alley. I think that you'll really, really, really enjoy it. It says right here, it's going to be 1,000 yen, but it also says it supports English. So do with that information what you will. It says, dungeon crawling RPG with beautiful dots and nostalgic sounding chiptunes that are reminiscent of the 1980s and 90s. 2D maps that expand to match the character's field of view. A game design that can be played over and over again thanks to a wide variety of professions, free party formation, and auto-generated maps. Game progression focused on hacking and exploration with no redundant scenarios or directions. Fast-paced, modern, and comfortable controls. I highly recommend. I haven't played this version. I haven't played 1, but I played 2, and I highly recommend it. And if this game, and looking at the trailer, looks just like 2, it's gonna be great. This one looks pretty neat. It's an open-world survival crafting RPG called Wild Wild Eden. It's due out in early access in spring of next year. It was originally announced back in July of 2023 as Project Survival. So let's see what this has to say about it. What does it say? What platforms it's coming out on? I don't see it. No. No, I guess just PC. Well, early access PC. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. I'm dumb. Okay. While many survival games feature photorealistic visuals, Wild Wild Eden embraces a high-quality anime-inspired art style. Truly breathtaking moments across its fantasy world. Oh wait, it looks like Mana. Like, look at that. Does that look like Reese from Trials of Mana? Like, it looks beautiful. Vast forests, magnificent mountains, glittering oceans, and enigmatic ancient ruins are waiting to be discovered. Every journey into the wilderness offers more than just valuable resources. It brings players one step closer to uncovering the secrets of this mysterious planet. From floating landmasses in the sky to new and extraordinary creatures, exploration is driven by curiosity, wonder, and the thrill of discovery. Gather resources, craft tools and equipment, and construct a settlement that truly feels like your own. With intuitive building mechanics, you can freely create your ideal home across nearly every corner of the world and bring your personal sense of style and creativity to life. I wish that this was just like a regular JRPG, like an action game, like a mana game or a turn-based game or something like that, because it looks cute. I would totally be all about this, but because it's crafting, I just can't. Okay, I'm sorry, this is weird, and they just need to kind of move on from this because it's been 15 something years, if not longer. Move on. The last hour of an epic To the Moon RPG debut trailer, new screenshots, due out in 2027. So it's just, this is weird. So To the Moon came out a long time ago, we're talking 16, 17 something years ago. It was one of the first indie games to come out, and it was different from the other indie games like Breath of Death 7 and things like that. It was different from them because it was more of like a narrative sort of thing going on, but now they're turning it into a turn-based RPG, but it's just kind of like, why don't you just create something else? Like, you can't keep on chasing after, like, it's crazy. Anyway, it says, ever wondered what To the Moon series would be like if it was an actual turn-based RPG? Well, here it is anyway. For just fans of the RPG genre and for fans of To the Moon series alike, load up a save file that's already gone through the first 99 hours of grinding and play, and then play only the last hour of an epic To the Moon RPG straight to its conclusion. So they're creating this as a turn-based RPG, but they're only letting you play the very last portion of the game, and they're giving you an overpowered party. Like, okay. Join the already decked-out party of Neil, Ava, Roxy, and Rob as they venture the final lighthouse-shaped dungeon to defeat the mysterious mastermind Big Bad Boss that await them at the top. Like, if you want to create an RPG, just create an RPG. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered for the Switch 2 launches on August the 11th. Physical edition pre-orders are now available. Whenever they say physical edition, they do mean physical edition. It is a physical game on the card for the Switch 2. It is not a game keycard. What is this trailer? Like, this is Anyway, nearly 20 years after the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion shaped the RPG genre, it's time again to turn the tide of darkness. This handcrafted remaster in 4K resolution runs at 60 frames per second and brings the wondrous world of Cyrodiil to audiences both old and new. I don't know. In the shadow of evil, a hero will arise from the ashes of a fallen empire. The gates have been opened and the battle has begun. Only one thing can save the world. The true heir of the Septon line must be found and restored to the Imperial throne. So this features modernized game features from Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered, and it also features the Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles story expansions, as well as all previously released downloadable content. Ao Oni coming to the PS5 on July the 3rd. Currently available for the Switch as well as the PC. It is a cult classic horror RPG that was originally released in 2004 for $10. It says, challenge yourself while being chased by fear, a horror puzzle action adventure. The legendary horror game Ao Oni has evolved and come back to life. This is the origin of Blue Tragedy. Long ago, there was a mansion on the outskirts of town. There were whispers amongst the people about such rumors as blue monsters coming out. What the 4 people who visited the mansion saw were monsters. Can they escape alive? Speaking of weird trailers, like, what is this? What is going on here? Rarely, if ever, do I talk about RPGs that are really before my time. Because I played like the first RPG and it wasn't before my time. I played it when I was 7. It was Dragon Warrior and I kind of grew up through the genre. This one though, before my time. Bokosuka Wars 2 coming to PC. Bokosuka. Okay. In 2026. It's currently available for the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. This came out in 1983. I was 1 year old in 1980. Still living in Germany. I was still living in Germany in 1983. Yeah. It's considered one of the origins of the widely popular simulation RPG genre. A truly legendary game, having quickly incorporated numerous elements that would lead to modern simulation RPGs, such as the existence of a leader whose defeat results in a game over, character compatibility, growth and promotion through repeated battles, and it goes on to say that it's a military simulation RPG where you play as the King of Slen, leading your allies to defeat the tyrannical King Ogres. So if this isn't before your time and you want to check it out, hey, have at it. Crimulite introduction trailer. The latest look at the dark Bishouju roguelike action game. I don't know what that means. I don't even know why I try to pronounce it when I have no idea what it means. So anyway, following the events of 2019's Crystar and Cry Machina, Crimulite follows a young girl, only known as Alice, after she wakes up with no memories of her past and discovers she must journey to the lowest layer of purgatory to earn her rebirth. This is kind of like a take on Alice in Wonderland sort of thing with like tea parties and all that kind of stuff. A roguelike action game in which you venture out into the Wonderland, ruled by the Queen of Hearts, obviously, while battling the death against her forces, an innocent girl who wields sin to fight in the land of the dead. Traverse between 2 distinct realms, Wonderland is a prison where the souls of the dead are held captive, and the Tea Party, a sanctuary offering respite to young girls burdened by their sins. At the Tea Party, in between conversations with the characters that she meets along the way, Alice can confess and atone for sins accumulated during combat, allowing her to acquire enhancement items and power-ups. I will say this, I haven't played a Cry game that I have enjoyed, and Cry Machina made me like sick to my stomach. Like, you'd see these girls sitting there eating these like tea cakes with like pustules coming out of their eyeballs leaking into the tea cake. It was disgusting, absolutely vile. Onimusha Way of the Sword release date moved up to September the 4th, 3 weeks earlier than planned. I'm wondering if this has to do with Grand Theft Auto, though I would say that people who play games like these probably don't play racing games, so I don't know. Fight through the bloodbath. I don't play racing games, you know, I've already talked about this. Anyway. Yes, I'm doing it purposely. Fight through bloodbaths of intense swordplay action. Explore the historic Japanese capital of Edo-era Kyoto, twisted by malevolent clouds of malice. With every stage cloaked in mystery, danger, and intrigue. Battle against monstrosities from the underworld known as Genma in a tale of dark fantasy. Follow the tale of a samurai who wields the Oni Gauntlet, a mystical artifact that grants its bearer the power to slay Genma. Through gritty, blood-soaked brawls, he searches for a reason to fight. What fate awaits at the end of his path? Okay, so I don't really watch anime. I think that that's kind of clear. I watched Sailor Moon back in the day, and I liked Sailor Moon, but that's been about it. I know that Attack on Titan is an anime, but if you look at this trailer, that ain't anime. Attack on Titan 3 launches this winter. Here's the first gameplay. So this is going to be coming out for the PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC, and it says that this game depicts the entire story of Attack on Titan from the beginning to the end. With new upgrades and improvements from the omnidirectional mobility gear battle system and brand new encounters against enemies like the 9 Titans, exterminating the Titan Scourge has never been this acrobatic or intense. The new casual mode allows fans of all skill levels to live the heart-pounding Scout Regiment experience. Build your own survey squad from a wide cast of characters with different skills and abilities, lead your squad on missions outside the walls, construct supply bases, take down dangerous titans, and expand humanity's domain. Like, this looks like a Western RPG from like the PlayStation 3 era? Like, I don't know. I don't think that Attack on Titan looks like this, like, at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just looks off to me. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. As they're taking away the physicals on the PS5, we're getting a physical Switch and Switch 2 edition of Another Eden Begins. Hey, awesome. This was announced for Japan already, but now it's coming to the West, which is really freaking cool. But it says that it's coming to the West in 2027. It specifically says 2027. However, it's releasing in 2026 on September the 17th. It says it's coming out for the Switch, Switch 2, and PC in 2026, September 17th, but we're not getting the physical until 2027, so that sucks. But at least we're getting a physical, so yeah, that's kind of neat. If you don't know, Another Eden Begins is a console version of Another Eden. It's kind of like Final Fantasy Residence, Atelier Resloriana, Octopath Traveler 0, you know, they're taking the mobile games and they're turning them into console games, that sort of thing. So it says right here that you're Aldo and you meet 18 companions, and then you go through their storylines and you time travel and all that kind of good stuff. It uses a turn-based battle system. It's kind of like a take on Chrono Trigger thing going on. Like, it's pretty neat. Then it says once the main story is completed, New Game Plus becomes available, which allows players to restart the adventures with their characters retaining their strength, with all new story paths and decisions lead to more than 10 different endings. So yeah, I am totally looking forward to this one. Even though it's coming out on a packed date, I want to say Trails in the Sky second chapter, as well as Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, also come out on September the 17th. Code Vein 2 expansion The Mask of Idris has been announced, due out alongside a free version 2.0 update. It's going to be available for purchase, or if you already have the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition, it will be included in that purchase. A release date, though, has not yet been announced. The Mask of Idris expansion features exploration set in a Forsaken world, a setting forged from the converged passions of worlds that vanished due to historical alterations. At the core of this alternate world, a colossal swirling spindle of these passions continuously draws in emotions from all times and spaces and now threatens to impact the real world. As this new battle unfolds, players will cross paths with Liv Voda, the alluring guardian of time and space who possesses a combative personality. The Mask of Idris expansion serves as post-game content, requiring players to have reached the Luna Fraterna ending of the main narrative of Code Vein 2, as well as completing the submission Valentine's Request to begin this new campaign, so you can only play this once you've beaten the game. Additionally, they'll release the free update version 2.0 simultaneously with the expansion, implementing various updates, including additional content that will allow players to explore the post-main game world with their partners. More details about the free update and new content to come will be released at a later time. Persona 4 Revival protagonist trailer, meet the hero. Yeah, so we have a little teaser trailer of the hero right here. It gives its voice actors, both of whom I cannot pronounce, and it says a second-year high school student who, due to unfortunate circumstances with his parents, was sent to live in Inaba at the home of his uncle. This is coming out on February the 18th of 2027 for the PS5, Xbox, and PC. And interestingly enough, another thing, a Persona live action series is in development over at Netflix. Interesting. It says Christopher Monfett will reportedly serve as the writer, executive producer, and showrunner. Sean Levy and Robert Atwood of 21 Laps will also executive produce, along with Dimitri M. Johnson, Michael Lawrence Goldberg, and Timothy I. Stevenson via Story Kitchen. Toru Nakahara of Sega will also serve as an executive producer, but Netflix declined to comment when contacted by Variety. So yeah, we're going to see a live-action Persona 5. How cool! And our final story of the day, not an RPG, but it's my channel, and I will talk about whatever I want to. Okay, unannounced Metroid Ravenous, rated in Brazil. A new Metroid game is seemingly incoming. Back in the day, I played Metroid, I know. I played Metroid on the NES, I played Super Metroid on Super Nintendo, and I played Metroid 2, Return of Samus on the Game Boy. My favorite of those is probably Super Metroid, I've got to say, on the SNES. Me and my brother used to play that a lot. He played Metroid on the NES quite a bit. I wasn't too big into Metroid on the NES, and I played the Game Boy one too, mostly in the car whenever I was kind of trapped in the car with it or whatever. But yeah, like, Metroid was my jam, you know? Hey, I did other stuff. I'm not a one-note guy. I'm very multifaceted. Okay, so this leaks the existence of an unannounced Metroid Ravenous by Nintendo. This is coming from the Brazilian rating board right here. So yeah, you can see it all right here. That looks like we're getting a Metroid Ravenous. We don't really know anything else about that, just that it is coming. And I really have no comment on Metroid because I've only played those first 3 games and I really don't know anything else about Metroid. But I know that I had fun with Metroid, especially Super Metroid. That was such a good game. Very, very, very good. So if you're a fan of Metroid, hey, good on you. Anyway, that's it for the news. Hope that all y'all enjoy your 4th of July, your Independence Day, go out and have your parties and your fireworks and your hamburgers and your hot dogs and all that kind of good stuff. And as always, have a good day.